hunting private land tonight. This spot that I'm in, I sat here a couple weeks ago. It was the opening weekend of bow season, and I did see my target buck out of this stand. Granted, that was a morning hunt, and this is an evening hunt, but it's a pretty similar wind now to what it was then, and he was using a bedding area right over my right shoulder. That being said, I'm not after a buck tonight, I'm after a doe. But if one of my target bucks came through, like, absolutely no doubt I would shoot one. I usually like to tag a doe or two with my bow before the rut, that way I know I'm good with venison. But I guess there is a ton of opportunity to shoot does later on as well. I've got a few hours till dark. Really, deer could be moving at any time. So I think I'll wrap it up there, and we'll see what happens tonight. it is, at least currently, my number one target deer.
Alright, Cody from the future here. When I got home and started looking at the footage of this buck, I was like,
wait a minute! Who are you?
there's two bucks that have kind of the same deal going on where they have one normal antler and then one weird antler. And I thought this was the one that I had previously seen with the left antler being the normal antler, the buck's left antler. Turns out, after I reviewed the footage, this is a different one. This one is a year older. I believe him to be a 5-year-old, and it's his right antler. That's the good antler. But when I quickly just looked and saw the deer with one good side, I assumed it was the one that I'd previously seen out of that stand, but it wasn't. This is actually my second shooter buck that I would shoot on this property. Kind of unfortunate that they both have a weird antler, but it is what it is. One's a 4-year-old, one's a 5-year-old. I'd shoot either one and be happy with it. So just had to interrupt because everything that I said in the tree stand about this buck turned out to be wrong. So correcting myself, back to the video.
That first group of does that I had out in this field, I'm a little surprised that they're feeding out deer as much as they are, but they were like, they came out at 60 yards and then they fed into 55, and then I don't know if they caught me moving or smelled me or what, but they ended up taking off. And then probably 15 minutes ago or so, I had another doe work through, probably 1.5-year-old, a little bit of a smaller doe, but she worked through right here at like 20 yards in front of my stand, but it's so thick in front of me, and I didn't get any trimming done this year, so I never got a shot opportunity at her until she got out into the field, and she was at like 43 when she walked out, and I really like to keep it to 40 or less, and with the wind being as quiet as it was when she came out, I really figured she would hear my bow when I shot, and at 40 yards they got a lot of time to move and duck the arrow or make it where you hit them in a bad spot, so I wasn't 100% comfortable taking that shot, and for me personally, if I'm not 100% confident on the shot, I'm not going to take it. So I was 85% confident, but I just didn't know if she was going to move or not by the time my arrow got there. So I just figured it's not worth risking it, so I decided not to shoot. Obviously something else could come through here in the next few minutes before it gets dark, and if it doesn't show you that, but if nothing does, I will see you in the morning. Saturday the 19th, and I'm all set up and waiting in my stand. It was a full moon last night, and the temperatures got down to around 40 degrees. I am set up in a spot that I hunted earlier this year. I'm in a big old cedar tree, and basically there is two bedding areas, one to my right and one to my left. Then in this strip of woods that I'm in, there's all kinds of oaks, and they're still dropping the last of their acorns. Basically what I'm hoping for this morning is deer to come through this area to feed on acorns and then work their way towards bedding. I would shoot a doe this morning if I got a good opportunity. And then obviously a mature buck I would shoot too. I'm pretty sure I hear deer moving around out there, so I'm gonna stop talking and I'll show you around here pretty soon. stop that doe when she was cutting through down here, but for whatever reason I don't know, I just didn't do it. I should have, but I didn't. But anyways, I had another doe come in from the swamp, which is off to my left side, and I had to reach and grab my bow real quick because she was coming in pretty fast and I could hear grunting behind her. And I think she caught my movement when I was grabbing my bow and got a little nervous and was kind of walking back and forth for a little bit and eventually calmed down and worked her way off. And after she did, a couple other bucks came out right behind her. One of them I think was definitely a 3-year-old. One of them was probably 2 or 3. Just not ones that I'm looking to shoot. And a third buck did come through behind her too, but he was way up on the ridge and I couldn't get any film of him over there. But that's going to be about it for me this morning. I'm going to try to make it home, pick up my wife, and then come back down and hunt tonight. And we're going to hunt a different area of the property. I want to stay out of here a little bit because there's a ton of bucks in here and I don't want to bugger it up too much. So that's the plan. I'll see you then. Alright, it is Saturday, October 19. I'm here in St. Joseph County on private property tonight. It's like 70 in the low 70s today with a south wind, and I'm going to try to shoot a doe tonight. I got my wife out here with me. She's sitting in the tree with me. She's in the ladder stand, and then I took my saddle and hung it off the back of the tree here. So hopefully, fingers crossed, there's some uneducated deer in this area. I haven't hunted here at all yet this year, and there's usually a good amount of does in here. So I'm hoping to get a doe for the freezer. Obviously, if big bucks were to come through, I would shoot one. But I'm not really expecting that in this spot, although it could happen. But we'll see what happens.
Alright guys, it is October 23 today, and I am on my way to go hunt some public land tonight. I am going to head to a piece that I have not hunted in quite a bit. I think it's been since like around the 10th or something of October since I hunted it. But historically I've always gotten pictures of good bucks on this property. So it is a good property. I got a couple trail cameras out on this property, and since I haven't been out here in a while, I think I'm going to scout through a little bit and try to find some good sign and maybe check those cameras if I can't find some sign that I feel like is worth setting up on. So a cold front is coming through right now. It started last night. We've got about a 15-mile-an-hour northwest wind, and temperatures have dropped from like 75 down to about 60 right now. I think with these higher winds, there's going to be a lot of noise in the woods. So I'm going to try to scout around a little bit, stay downwind of the best bedding on this property, and eventually hopefully find some good sign to set up on. Should be getting good. It's late October, so some pre-rut activity should be picking up. I'm hoping to find some fresh scrapes to set up over, but we'll find out when we get out there. So that's the plan for tonight. We'll see what happens. All right, so I just checked one of my trail cameras that's in this tree right in front of me, and the last deer that was through here was like 3 days ago, and it was just a doe. No bucks in this area anytime recently. I don't see any deer sign, or buck sign at least, in this area. I think I'm going to push into the next bedding area, and that's going to be where I hunt tonight. That's kind of what I was planning on doing anyways. That's what I kind of thought in the back of my mind would be the right move. But I circled way downwind and checked this bedding area before checking that next one. Anyways, on to the next bedding area, and that's where I'm going to hunt tonight.
Right, I am all set up. I hunted this piece of public a couple times right away early season, and I was pretty discouraged with what I saw. I had found a few dead deer from EHD, and so I think the population is a little lower in this area this year. I decided to make a set in a spot that's historically been a good area, but like I said, like there's trails and stuff, but I don't see any like rubs or scrapes or anything out here. Hopefully there's still good bucks out here, but I don't see any signs of them if there are. So that's a little disappointing, but still, we'll hang out tonight. That cold front's coming through, so you never know what might come into the area, and we'll see what happens. Wish me luck. deer on public land. That little buck came from there's kind of multiple bedding areas in this little area here. And he came from one that I figured there would be bucks in. He came in probably 30-40 yards along my tree here, and then looped around and came through right at like 10 yards and was standing directly downwind, and he definitely got my scent and took off. But he didn't blow or anything, he just ran away. So if there happens to be a bigger buck in the area, I don't think it's going to spook him too bad. But with that being said, I don't think there's a ton of time left for another buck to come in. I've got a super busy day tomorrow, and so I won't be able to hunt. So this is going to be the end of this week's episode. But this weekend I'll be headed out to hunt that private land again. I've seen both of my shooter bucks now, so fingers crossed I get a crack at one of them this weekend. I'm putting my doe killing mission on pause for now. It's getting to be late October. We're getting into the prey rut and then the rut. So I'm going to hold off to shoot some does until I've tagged at least one buck. Or until firearm season comes, I guess. Maybe 10-15 minutes of good camera light left. And then that's going to be it for me. And that's going to be it for today's episode. So we're getting into the good stuff now. It's late October, so things should be heating up. And hopefully it only gets better from here.